Welcome to tonight's edition of Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie and with Corey. Corey usually says hello at that point.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Unlocking Your Truth is a talk show about metaphysics and spirituality. Every week we have a different topic under that umbrella. Tonight's topic is superstition, which I don't think we've ever done before. And if you're new to the show, before we get going on that topic, I have to say that Unlocking Your Truth is a talk show, and we broadcast on 101.7 FM across the Fraser Valley on the unceded territory of the Stolo Nation on 101.7 FM from CIVL. And we also can be found on all of the major podcasting platforms. And if you go to drlesliephillips.com, you can see all of the hundreds of past episodes that we've done. And I don't think we've done superstition before, have we, Corey? No, so it's new. And I guess it's funny because we didn't do a show last week on Halloween, but if we had, it would have been a good topic.
Yeah, I thought of that afterwards. Yeah, I thought that'd be great.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit about superstition from a spiritual perspective, but then I just thought it might be fun for us to talk about different superstitions. And so I'm going to read a definition of what is a superstition. And the etymology of the word is that what it literally means is to stand over something. So it's something that sort of supersedes or stands over ordinary logic, you know. It's like
that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And it's any belief or practice considered by non-practitioners to be irrational or supernatural, attributed to fate or magic, perceived supernatural influence, or fear of that which is unknown, commonly applied to beliefs and practices surrounding luck, amulets, astrology, fortune telling, spirits, certain paranormal entities, particularly the belief that future events can be foretold by specific unrelated or prior events. And the word superstition is also used to refer to a religion not practiced by the majority of people in a given society, regardless of whether the prevailing religion contains alleged superstitions. So fundamentally, what a superstition is a belief. It's just a belief that somebody is choosing to believe. That's all it is.
Simple.
Right? Anything else, like anything else, it's just a belief. And we've definitely had shows where we've talked about beliefs before. And what we've said is that your beliefs form the framework of your reality. So you create your reality from the energy that you are. And your beliefs are sort of fundamental to that energy. So you filter your reality through your beliefs. They form the foundation of your life. So if you believe I'm unworthy, you create life circumstances of unworthiness. If you believe I'm successful and everybody loves me, not many humans believe that really, but if you do, then that's what you create. So we can think of beliefs and belief systems almost like building bricks of our reality. And so if we have a superstition as a belief, and we really, really believe in that superstition, then we are creating our reality through it. And I think it'll be interesting to see. I would love people who are listening live to write down any superstition that they grew up with that they still practice and believe. And I was surprised because I was looking sort of to remind myself on different superstitions before the show. And it was like, wow, I grew up with that one. I grew up with that one. I grew up with that one. There were loads of them. And I think to a lot of us, these superstitions, they're very, very old. You know, they were formed sometime in our history, and we've carried them forward through our different, you know, ancestral lineages. And in a way, to us modern folks, they can be a bit of fun on the one hand, and on the other hand, you know, sometimes there is something in it. So maybe I will share some of the beliefs that I grew up with and see, you know, which ones of these you recognize. And one of my favorite ones is like the 4-leaf clover. If you find a 4-leaf clover, it means that you will find good luck. I always used to look for 4-leaf clovers, and I remember when I very first moved to Canada, I found a 4-leaf clover and I pressed it and I kept it, and I think I still have it somewhere. So that belief is, it's a folk tradition. I think it started, well, there's different ideas on some of them, but I think one idea is it started in Ireland because it's associated with the shamrock. But there's also like apparently a Christian thing that says that each of the 4 leaves represents hope, faith, love, and luck. I used to just believe it meant good luck, and I would go searching for good luck.
Brian says he found a 5-leaf clover last year.
Oh, well, that's fun, isn't it, Brian? Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
It's poison ivy, Brian.
Yeah. There's another one that I was reminded of, and one of my old school friends is here, and I'm sure she knows this one. And I think it's an English one. It's when you see a magpie in your garden, or you see a magpie, and you count the number of magpies, and depending on how many magpies there are, it means a different thing. So it's like an old English folk or nursery rhyme, and it says 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. So if you see 1 magpie, that's bad luck. If you see 2, it's good luck. If you see 3, you're going to have a child, and it'll be a girl. If you see 4, you're going to have a child, and it'll be a boy. And you know, and so on. So that was always a fun one. But I remember as a kid, whenever we'd, you know, see a magpie, that's what we would say. And I wonder if anyone listening is from any other cultural background, you know, like my cultural background's English, but what did you grow up with? Please let us know.
Just a little note on the 4-leaf clover. A lot of the pictures around St. Paddy's Day of the Irish and everything always show a 4-leaf clover, but the Irish clover is 3 leaves, not 4.
Right, clover is typically 3
yeah,
leaves.
3 leaves. Yeah.
All right, maybe I'll say another one.
Well, I remember. I think one of the reasons we're doing the show is I was thinking about it around Halloween, and when a building has an elevator that goes past the 13th floor, generally you don't see the 13 on the elevator button. But the thing is, there's still a 13th floor.
It's just called the 14th floor.
Yeah, it doesn't go, 12. Okay, no floor here. Let's go to the next floor. It's still 13. You still have 13 floors. I found that very interesting.
It is.
Thinking about it, never thought about it that way.
There's actually lots of superstitions around numbers. Friday the 13th is bad luck, for example, is associated with that. 13 is an unlucky number.
Yeah.
the 7-year itch.
Yeah.
There's loads of them. Knock on wood. Does anyone here knock on wood? Or knock on wood?
Yep.
Yeah, that's an old one. I think that's another British one. And I mean, so apparently that one originated in the, you know, I guess in the British Isles, they had the history of Celtic druids and all of the belief systems around the trees. And apparently there's a belief system that good and bad spirits resided in trees, and they could be called upon for protection or chased away by knocking on their home. So, and do you know what was interesting as well is apparently Italians don't knock on wood, they touch steel. And it's because of iron horseshoes. So that's lucky for them. So they touch steel.
I've never heard that one.
Neither have I.
Got a couple here from our audience, if you'd like to listen.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Well, there's a question from Katie. We're going to answer that question for you, Katie, a little further down. Are superstitions based on some kind of data or proof similar to stereotypes, or are they assumed to be correlated because they're noticed more? But we'll be answering that question as we go. This is from Vicky. Vicky says, my mom told me that when your ears are burning, someone's talking about you.
Yes. So did mine, Vicky, and my dad. Yeah, if your ears are burning, someone's talking about you. If your nose is itching, you're lying. If your hands are itching, you're going to come into some money. Yeah. All of those
what's the other one? There's another one. If it's a physical thing and you're going to kiss a fool. I forget what it was.
Oh, I don't know. You'll have to Google that, Corey. That rings a bell. Kiss a fool.
Yeah. Vicky says that if the left ear is burning, it's for love, and if the right ear is for spite.
Ah, interesting.
I'm surprised you don't have the same one as Vicky does.
Well, yeah, I do have the ear burning one. Who throws salt over their shoulder if they spill the salt?
Yeah. I don't.
But we all know I think most of us know that one, don't we? And it's funny because we sort of learn these things as kids and we do them, and we don't even necessarily know where they come from. So it's kind of interesting to see where they come from. And apparently it's to do with warding off evil. And it says that in Leonardo da Vinci's painting The Last Supper, Judas Iscariot is portrayed as having accidentally spilled salt. And since since he is associated with doing something bad, so salt is bad. So throwing it over your shoulder would blind the devil who's waiting behind your shoulder. And of course, the devil's on your left shoulder and the angel's on your right shoulder. So you have to throw it the devil rather than the angel. But you know what also strikes me is I think there's some superstition about salt being protective. And in some sort of ritualistic traditions, they make a circle of salt around them.
Keep spirits out.
Salt crystals around, yeah.
Or keep spirits in. That's how you trap. Supposedly that's how you can trap a spirit, by getting them to stand in a circle of salt.
It also says, no, I think that's it for that one. That's and here's an interesting one that you might think of as being, again, English or European, but it's actually might even be from ancient Egypt, which is it's bad luck to walk under a ladder. Do you hear that? Have you heard that one? It's bad luck to walk under a ladder. And so apparently the ancient Egyptians thought you might accidentally see a god going up or down a ladder, so they just avoided it. And in Europe, it's related to the Holy Trinity because a ladder leaning against a wall looks like a triangle, and it's like a sacred structure. And so to walk under the ladder would be to destroy the sanctity of the Trinity and incur punishment. And also, and this one rings more true to me, that the ladder resembles the gallows, you know, when in the olden days when they used to hang people.
Yeah. And again, 13 steps up the gallows.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah. So this is one from Kimba. Kimba says, I grew up with the belief that doves are a sign of peace and snake a symbol of evil. I would not have been allowed to have a pet snake.
Yeah. Yeah, dove, peace. And what did she say about the snake?
Evil.
Evil. Yeah. Well, and that's kind of is a Christian one, isn't it? You know, there's the serpent in the Garden of Eden and the you know, the dove. I guess the dove is a sign of the Prince of Peace, but also in Noah's Ark, you know, finding land. So broken mirror. Broken mirror means 7 years of bad luck. I'm sure most people know that one too.
Yeah.
And that one, I'm just trying to paraphrase on it. I think that one is from ancient Rome and ancient Greece originally. And the Romans believed that poor health would cause a mirror to crack. And they saw 7 as the number of years required to complete a full cycle of sickness and renewal. And so it actually comes from ancient Rome, and it's survived all these years, since, you know, over 2,000 years. And people around the world are still saying that a broken mirror means bad luck. And it's interesting when you think about a belief like that, that's sort of almost endemic within the collective consciousness and has been for thousands of years. For thousands of years, people have been saying, oh, a broken mirror means 7 years of bad luck. Oh, that didn't last very long. We've got to go for a break, folks.
Yeah, that was quick. We got a whole bunch more when you come back.
Yeah, oh, good. So we're talking about superstition. We just thought it might be a light, fun topic.
And it is.
And what is a superstition? It's a belief. If you really believe it, then it's going to be a building block of your reality. For most of us, I guess we take them with a pinch of salt. We'll be back after these messages. See you in a moment. Welcome back, everyone, to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie. We're taking it lightly and having a bit of fun, talking about superstitions that we grew up with. And, you know, the spiritual concept underlying it is, you know, whatever we believe, we create our reality through those beliefs. So if we truly believe a superstition, then in a way it's true for us. If we break a mirror and we believe, oh wow, that's 7 years of bad luck, we're more likely to create 7 years of bad luck because we're truly believing it.
That could be possible.
All right. Does anyone have any more superstitions to
Yes.
share?
There are more superstitions. There's a funny one coming up. Brian says, there are some cultures, I've read stories from them, and they have a heavy belief in supernatural creatures, usually of an evil nature. Such can be beliefs make such creatures can such beliefs make such creatures exist, like the tulpa? Supposedly, each strong belief, supposedly such strong beliefs can manifest such beings.
Yeah, it's correct, because if you have a lot of energy in, like we were saying, it's in the mass human consciousness, and many people are believing it. All that energy is going into creating a thought form, which is just a projection of human mass consciousness, but to create the thought form of that creature that they have imagined into existence. So absolutely, because we create our reality as individuals, but we also create our reality as a species, as a mass consciousness. Who steps on cracks? Because that's another one,
good
isn't
one.
it?
Another
Step
good
on a
one.
crack, break your mother's back, apparently. I don't remember the break your mother's back part of it, but I do remember not stepping on cracks as a kid.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember that without a doubt.
What?
Go ahead. Sorry, Dr. Leslie. Go ahead.
Find a penny, pick it up, and all day you'll have good luck. See a pin and pick it up, all day long you'll have good luck. See a pin and let it lay, and your luck will pass away. I remember those ones as well.
Brian had mentioned earlier on, and I forgot to say that, but Brian says, well, there's that thing about Friday the 13th, but I've always had a great days on Friday the 13th. I look forward to them.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is from History Mom. She says, I knock on wood. How about whistling past a graveyard?
Oh, I don't know that one. Whistling past a graveyard.
I've heard that. I don't know what the repercussions are of that, but yeah. Maybe you wake up the spirits and they take you away.
Interesting. Here's another two from my childhood. A rabbit's foot, a lucky rabbit's foot. My brother had a lucky rabbit's foot. he had a little white rabbit's foot for good luck. And the other, lucky horseshoe. You know, if you put a horseshoe outside your door and you do it that way round, it will hold the luck. But if it's upside down, the luck will spill out. And apparently that comes from, well, I don't know which is the earliest, ancient Rome and the sort of Celtic beliefs in the British Isles and Europe. So that's an old belief as well. Yeah, I wonder why the rabbit's foot is, oh, garlic round your neck to keep the evil away. That's another one, isn't it? Keep the vampires away. Keep the vampires away. Yeah, I don't know. They just say the rabbit foot is from like Celtic tribes in Britain. So who knows?
Wasn't very lucky for the rabbit.
No. Or this bad luck always comes in threes. That's another one, isn't it? And then you get two things that go wrong and you go, okay, there's got to be a third one coming. And you're almost creating that third one coming if you believe it.
I got one for you. What's that? It's a fashion one. You don't wear white after Labor Day.
Oh, right. Or you don't wear white if you go to someone else's wedding. Yeah. Or there's all sorts of superstitions and beliefs about different gemstones and different flowers, like pearls are for tears. I don't know them all. I'd have to Google them. But the Victorians in Victorian England, they had a whole language of flowers that was correct for certain occasions, you know, and they had certain meanings. So a yellow rose would mean different than a red rose or a lily or something else.
So this is from Leah. Leah says, oh, and the one about making a silly face, and if the wind blows, it stays that way.
Oh, my mum always used to say that to me. Don't hold your face like that too long or it will stick.
Yeah, it'll stay that way. Oh, that's good. I like that. Vicky says, when the palm of your hand is itching, you should rub it on wood. One hand is for giving and the other is for receiving. I don't
Yeah,
remember which one's which, but that's the money coming. You're going to get money is having the itchy
yeah.
palms.
And it's funny because in talking about energy and healing, we actually say the same thing. So if you're right-handed and you're learning to be a healer, the right hand is your giving hand and the left hand is your receiving hand when you're channeling energy. But if you're left-handed, it's the opposite way around. The left hand is the sending hand and the right hand is the receiving hand.
Mm-hmm.
But also, we have an association, don't we, between left and right, male and female. And so, or yin and yang, or negative, positive, in that the more female valence is more receptive and receiving, and the more masculine or yang valence is, or positive valence is more, projecting outwards and moving forwards. Right. I've got a big list of beliefs here so I can fill in if there's no black cats crossing your path. How about that one? And
that's the one Brian had coming up next.
Oh, okay. What does Brian say about black cats?
Oh, there's the one about black cat crossing your path.
Yeah. And that could go all the way back to ancient Egypt where they worshipped cats. But here's an interesting fact. Well, actually, no, black cats were at one time bad luck. I always think of them as good luck. But apparently, one of the popes, Pope Gregory, in 1232, declared all cats were an incarnation of Satan.
He's right.
And it's funny because there are people who really kind of just believe cats are evil, don't they? You're either a cat person or you're not a cat person. And it's funny to think that, maybe that's just programmed into our psyches because for hundreds of years, people have had these beliefs about cats. Yeah, funny.
Yeah. I think they're aliens personally. Zachary says, a black cat crossing your path is considered to be good luck in many parts of the world. In Britain, Ireland, Japan, and Germany, it's believed that encountering a black cat on your travels is lucky.
Yeah, I believed it was black. What about this one? Cross your fingers. What is it like? Cross my fingers, hope to die, never ever tell a lie.
Okay.
Something like that. Or you can tell a lie so long as you've got your fingers crossed behind your back.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of some from my past, but from my family, but I can't think of any.
What about saying a wish on the wishbone of a turkey or a chicken?
Oh yeah. That's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a super. I wonder where that one comes from.
Don't know.
Legends have it that ancient Romans used to fight over dried wishbones, which they believed were good luck, and would accidentally break them, ushering in the idea that whoever has the largest part of the bone gets their wish. And also bird bone, and maybe it originates when they used to use bird bones in divination.
That
Because
could be,
that's
yeah.
a really ancient practice, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got one. Dream catchers.
Dream catchers. Yeah, from like a Native American belief system.
They believe that bad dreams are.
Yeah.
Okay, Leah says in Newfoundland.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Isn't there, in some traditions, they tie a ribbon to a tree to make a wish?
Okay. Never heard that one.
Yeah.
Okay. How about if you put up a Christmas tree, Santa will come and put presents under it.
Oh, good one.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe we should have said that. Some people probably still believe in Santa Claus out there.
Or if you put your tooth under your pillow, the tooth fairy will leave you some money.
Yeah, yeah. Used to be a nickel. Now it's like $10 or something.
I just got an itchy nose then.
Gotta kiss a fool. This is from Leah. Leah says, in Newfoundland, the children are told to keep bread in their pockets. If the fairies come to take you away, you drop bread on the ground to run away, to get away.
Oh, the fairies get distracted by the bread.
Yeah.
Huh.
Seems that way. History mom. My grandmom was very superstitious. We couldn't open an umbrella in the house. That was one of the many. Oh,
Yeah,
that was a common
that's
one.
one
Yeah.
we had too. Exactly. It's bad luck to open the umbrella in the house. And this surprised me. Apparently that one also originates in ancient Rome. And I couldn't believe, wow, they had umbrellas in ancient Rome. Wow. I guess they couldn't they? I mean, you can make an umbrella like a parasol out of like wood and something, fabric. So yeah, I guess parasols and umbrellas are probably quite old things.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian, there are all kinds of sea superstitions, like a ship sighting, seeing the ghost ship. The Flying Dutchman would meet its fate shortly afterwards, or if someone dies building a ship, it is cursed with bad luck.
What about red sky at night, sailors delight?
Light.
Red sky at dawn, sailors be warned.
Warned.
There are lots of sort of superstitions like that. I read another one, and I didn't put this one in my notes, but it was from soldiers in the war. And it's something to do with light a match 3 times. And it was like, if there were 3 soldiers with a cigarette and you lit the match and there was enough to light all 3 cigarettes with one match, it meant that the last soldier would die that got the cigarette from the match would die, and the second soldier would be shot or injured, and the first soldier would be all right.
That's not a superstition. That was a fact. The first one,
Like,
they
well, I've
say,
got to be the first one to get my cigarette lit.
yeah, they would sight, and then the soldiers started lighting matches like this in their hands, like this. But
Right.
yeah, you didn't want to light you didn't. Yeah, smoking was very bad for your health during the war. During a war.
Here's another one that I do vaguely remember from my childhood. And it comes from the north of England, where I come from, apparently. Don't put your shoes on the table. Don't put your shoes on the table comes from the coal mining industry. When a miner died in an accident, they placed his shoes on the table as a sign of respect. So if you accidentally put shoes on the table, it was tempting fate that somebody might die. That's an interesting.
It's another one that if you're in a lightning storm, you open the front window of the house and the back window of the house. So if there's a problem, if the lightning comes, it rolls right through your house.
Here's another one from the theatre world. You can't say Macbeth. Yeah, so you say break a leg. Yeah. You can't say good luck, so you say break a leg, and you can't say Macbeth. And there's something that you say instead of saying Macbeth. I don't remember what it is though.
It's amazing all these ones that are around, you know. This is from History Mom again. We knew if it rained on your wedding day, it was a pretense of tears. Excuse me.
Yeah. Here's one that I think is a more modern, recent one. And I remember this came out when emails first came out. chain letters, you know, and somebody would send you an email and it would be like, send this email to 10 other people, and if you do, you will get £10,000. But if you don't, something bad will happen to you. And then all your friends would be like sending you these things because they were scared that something would happen to them. Oh dear.
Very true.
That one.
And one more before we go on a break again, and that's from Zachary. Zachary says, a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
I like that one. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Zachary. All right, folks, we're going to go to another break. And after the break, we'll just come back and answer your questions. I think we've covered a lot of superstitions. See you after the break. Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's edition of Unlocking Your Truth. We're just being light and fun tonight. We've been talking about superstitions and all the funny superstitions we remember when we were growing up. And then the idea, you know what, you create your reality through your beliefs. So are there any superstitions that you really truly believe? Or do you just see them as a bit of fun? All right, over time for listeners' questions. I think you said there was one from Katie Corey earlier that we would answer.
Yeah, there's one. I think we didn't quite cover it, but let me go back up to it. Are superstitions based on some kind of data or proof, similar to stereotypes, or are they more assumed to be correlated because they are noticed more, or maybe beliefs based on superstitions can become manifestations?
Yeah. You know, I bet you some scientist or scientist somewhere has probably studied superstition. And I wouldn't mind betting also that maybe they do beat the odds. If people are really believing in them, then that might increase the probability that becomes something that's actualized and manifested. Just like we were saying earlier, if loads of people believe in pink hairy monsters and they really believe in them as some kind of supernatural beast, if enough energy goes into that, then the thought form of that can be created. So if enough energy comes from the mass consciousness into one of these beliefs, then it starts to become manifest. So yeah, I bet you, I mean, I didn't look into that, whether it's been studied by science, but I bet superstitions have been. Yeah, thank you for the question. Any other questions you can ask about superstitions, or anything else you want really to ask about?
One of the things I find interesting about superstitions, I guess it depends on the depth of your belief, but it's almost like getting a future time reading. That future time reading becomes a fear or a promise, like of something good. And a lot of times, like you said earlier, we can manifest that. Like I love the example of the future time reading. If you're going to die in an elevator, so what happens to the person who gets that reading? They start
take the stairs.
Yeah, they start taking the stairs.
They get healthier.
Yeah, well, if you don't live on the 20th, work on the 20th floor or something, but it's the same. It's the same with superstition. You can't let a superstition rule your life, regardless of your belief.
Meanwhile, and I was just thinking while you were talking, there's a close relationship between performing certain rituals in order to get a result and a superstition. If I draw a bunch of symbols on a piece of paper and I don't know, drop some of my life force energy on it, like a drop of blood or something, which I think some of these, I don't know whether you'd call it witchcraft or, you know, some of these rituals do. If I believe that, then I am using that as a mechanism to create my reality through. And if I believe it works, it's like a permission slip to allow that thing to appear in my reality. So I think there's a relationship between rituals that people might perform and superstitions.
Brian was saying, he says, studies in chaos theory or complexity theory actually seem to support the superstition of bad things happening in threes.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Well, and I mean, I guess if we think about that from a spiritual perspective, what can happen is, let's say somebody has a negative experience, and that negative experience or that trauma brings their vibration down, because now they're sad, they're disappointed, they're traumatized, they're afraid, they're in pain, and they've laid down some beliefs about the world and the way the world works. The world isn't safe, for example, might be one of those beliefs. And then they carry that, and because this is a law of attraction based universe, they attract a second one. And then they go, oh God, wow, that belief really is true, you know, and they heap on some more pain, and now it's a stronger vibration that's being put out, and then, oh, here comes another one. So there is a mechanism where there is a mechanism for that in the way our reality works. It's called the law of attraction. You create your reality through the energy that you are. So if you allow challenging life experiences to scar you, you are creating your reality through that scarring.
Brian says, he says, if enough people believe in Santa Claus, must he exist?
Well, he probably does exist as a thought form, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of kids that, I don't know, meet Santa Claus in their dreams and things like that.
Kimba says, I was taught not to be superstitious. The message I received was that it was playing with evil.
Superstition is evil. Is the idea that superstition is evil a superstition?
I like that. That's a good one. But yeah, I mean, I can understand that belief, especially if you're in some form of a Christian religion, right? So because any belief system outside of their norm is not real.
So, any questions from our listeners?
Hang on.
666 is another one, by the way, isn't it? 666.
Yeah, but that's based again on a Christian thing. That's the number of the devil. That the Antichrist will have 666 as a marking. Go ahead, Dr. Leslie.
Okay. Well, if there's no questions, I found some other superstitions that I've never heard of. In Turkey, it's a superstition. I think I don't know if it's to chew gum at night or not to chew gum at night. So I'll just read what it says. In Turkey, they have. It says in Turkey, it says, have you ever had an irrational fear of accidentally consuming dead flesh? Can't say I have. Well, I don't know. In Turkey, it's thought that after dark, chewing gum is magically transformed like Mogwai in the movie Gremlins, who turn into monsters if they eat after midnight into the flesh of the dead. That doesn't quite make sense to me when I read that. So that's a weird one. It says in Japan, they tuck their thumbs inside of a cemetery.
Really?
To protect their parents from death. Because apparently the Japanese word for thumb is called the parent finger. So they don't walk through a cemetery with the parent finger exposed. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
Never heard that one before.
Well, folks, you can ask a question about anything. It doesn't have to be about superstition. You know, we normally answer your questions in this part of the show.
Okay, there's one from Shannon. Shannon, but I'll get back to that one. Lorraine says, "Who catches the bridal bouquet will be married next."
Oh yes, that's a good one.
That's why guys never never try for it.
Well, and then hang on a minute. There's something borrowed, something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue.
Yeah.
That's another wedding one, isn't it? Superstition, that you have to do that to make it successful.
Okay, this is from Shannon. Shannon says, "Hi, lovely Leslie and Mr. Corey. It's been a long time. May I have just a general energy reading to help me romp happily forward with my career with these high interest rates?"
I think this is Shannon, the real estate agent, if I remember correctly.
I predict that real estate rates, that the interest rates will come down at some point.
So a reading of your energy, Shannon.
That is her. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, it all comes down to you create your reality. And what I'm seeing in your energy is there's this information sitting in your crown chakra, which relates to the potential that you have to create the reality that you want, and the belief in yourself, in your ability to be able to do it. And it's sort of like there's a disjoint between that information, which is your sort of true information, and some of what you've been experiencing or some of what you've been witnessing. So it's like you're finding it looks like you're finding it challenging to hold the vibration of that, because you're looking around going, well, reality is showing me something different. And that's often a place where people get tripped up when it comes to manifesting, because they go, well, I'll do the work around manifesting. And then they go, oh, it didn't manifest. And then they go, oh, it's not working. And it's about holding the vibration and trusting it and holding it long enough so that your reality starts to shift. So that's the main thing that I'm seeing. I'm going to give you a little bit of a hand it's just about belief, really, and truly believing what's possible. And was the question asking about a prediction for interest rates? Is that what the question was?
No, it wasn't. It just in lieu of these high interest rates.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, it doesn't really matter what the markets are doing and what the interest rates are doing. You get to create your reality no matter what. And there are just mass beliefs, aren't there, in our economic system about what this means and what that means. And again, if you want to believe those mass beliefs, then you'll participate in that mass reality. But if you want to believe in yourself and your power to create what you want, no matter what, then that's the reality that you can look forward to.
True. So Dr. Leslie, we talked about superstitions. So how do you break the hold of a superstition? Like voodoo and things like that. I mean, curses are superstition, and some of them
Yes.
maybe aren't. Like those type of. How do you break the hold of some superstitious notion that you have?
Stop believing it. Yeah, I mean, I sometimes get people coming to me that feel like they've had a curse put on them. It is about changing the belief about it, really. And then if you want to say, well, how do I change the belief about it? I use energy techniques and meditation techniques to help the person work, de-energize, drain the potency out of the belief system, change the belief, replace it with a different belief system. So yeah, it's just a belief. So you have to understand that it's just a belief, and a belief is just a configuration of energy that you can reconfigure into something different, right? Beliefs are not facts. They're just a thought you keep on thinking. And then you're creating your reality around that thought that you keep on thinking.
Okay.
You can stop thinking the thought. You can stop constructing the energy construct in your energy field.
Thank you. Got a quick message from Heidi here. I have to bring it down here so I can see it. She says, Heidi Gold, hello to both of you. Much from Boulder, Colorado.
Hello.
Every time I see Heidi's last name, I think about my family. Boulder, Colorado.
Was that wasn't a was that a
No,
question?
no, that was just a hello
Oh.
from Heidi. Something simple for you. What do you have to say about somebody saying hello, Leslie?
Well, I think that's a very nice thing to do, to say hello to
Yes.
somebody. It's the
Yes.
validation of their existence, and it is a way of making making a connection with somebody. That's I think hello is lovely.
Oh, we have another one here. Let me see here. Okay. There's not much time left. But what about an omen? A bird coming down the chimney is an omen of someone you know dying.
Yeah, it is like a superstition, isn't it? An omen. It's again, it's a belief.
I think it's exactly a
It's
superstition.
just a belief. And it's interesting, and we didn't really touch upon too much upon animals and the meaning in animals. I mean, we talked about cats, didn't we, and doves and snakes, but yeah, that's an interesting one, because there are so many people on earth who have a belief system around animals being portents and having meaning and messages. And it's like a whole language between nature and man, really. So, maybe that's a topic for another show, to look at the signs when animals appear in our reality and what might the meaning be. It's a bit like, though, if you talk about dream symbols, and you always ask the dreamer, well, what's the meaning of that thing for you? And so for an animal appearing, well, what's the meaning of that animal for you? And then what's the meaning in our larger consciousness of that animal?
True. History Mom says, when giving away plants, we can't say thank you. We have to give each other a penny, but I don't know why.
I
Never
never
heard
knew
that
that
one.
one. You've got some good ones.
Yeah.
Where do you come from in your in your ancestry? There's some interesting ones.
Yeah. I know you do that with a wallet. If you
Oh,
give
yeah, in a purse. If you give someone a purse, you
Yeah.
have to put a coin in the purse.
Yeah.
That's another one,
At
isn't it?
least a penny or so. But you can't put a penny in anymore because we don't have pennies. But a nickel or a dollar. Well, Dr. Leslie, guess what?
That's the end of the show, and that
How
was
did you
a
know?
light, fun show.
Yeah.
What are we doing next week, Corey? Do you know?
Doing another show.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess show
You
up
want
and
me to
find
be
out.
ahead 2 weeks? Brian seemed to really enjoy the topic of um, the one on animals showing up in your life.
No, maybe we should do that one.
Okay, we could.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And if you didn't listen to the whole of this show and you're in the live audience, it will be coming out next week on the podcasting platforms, because we always get a week ahead of ourselves when we record live.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
See you next time.
And we shall see you next time.
Bye.